All right, welcome back for the e-learning session 4. For the session 3, I already introduced about experiential learning cycle and also about the reflection. And service learning is very important. The reflection is very important for the service learning. Of course, if you are the first time to hear about experiential learning cycle or reflection, you feel very confused, although you already introduced the fourth stage of COF ELC. For today's session, I will try to explain more and try to give you a few other model so that you can be able to do the reflection for your group and also for your own development. So this is the model, another model for the Gibbs model for reflective circle. If from 4 stage of the COF model, then Gibbs is trying to give you more detail by breaking it into 4 stages. The first one is description, will be the what happened, record what happened. The second one is the feeling, to state out how do you feel, how do you think, what were you thinking, and what were you feeling. The third stage is evaluation, for you to think and evaluate whether it's a good or bad about the experience during the service activities. And then after that, it either force you to think more. What sense can you make out of the situation? How do you explain the feeling? How do you explain the experience by any theory or any assumption from you? And then the fifth stage is about the conclusion. What else could you have done to make the situation better? Or what else could you do to make the beneficiary happy or your group happy? And last but not least, is always request you to think about the future application by action plan. If it arose again, what would you do? And again, come back to the description state. And the next stage, I will give you some of the useful questions for reflection for you to use during the group meetings and for you to use during your own self-reflection for the individual essay. By asking different questions at a different stage, you will be able to reflect systematically on and learn from your experience. Let's think about the 6th stage of the Gibbs model. In each stage, there is a few questions for you to use. At this stage, again, you describe the detail, the fact, and the event of the service experience. The question will be, what did you do? What did other people do? What did you observe? Who else were there? In which way? In what ways did your team help you? What issue is being addressed? What were your initial expectations? What were your role at the community side in your team? How were the response from the service recipients? How did the service end? Were the service complete or incomplete? These are description stage. And for the feeling, again, there's a little question that you can use. How are you feeling when the event starts? How did you feel? What did you think during the experience? What your first impression of the recipient? Did anything about your community involvement surprise you? If so, what? It helps you to describe your feeling, to state out the feeling and to release the feeling, either is a bad feeling or a good feeling. It helps you also to release the stress or have your member to release the stress. Remember, this part is not analytical. It's just a descriptive. Don't give any comment on or judgment on the feeling. on the other people sharing. Then this stage is evaluation. This stage is about is analyze. You should discuss how well you think when during the service learning project. What went well? What didn't go well? Why didn't your plan work? How did you react to situation? How did other people react? How is the service experience connected to your academic knowledge or learning outcome? What are the successful elements of your team? Are there any improvement what could have been made to the teamwork? If so, and what? How did the service end, and was the service complete or incomplete? First stage is again analyze, deeper analysis. Focus on the causes and the consequence of the thing that happened, and explore more the way to improve. This part is analytical rather than descriptive. Why did your client or teammate behave in the way they did? Why did you behave in the way you did? What ideas or theories are you aware of it are applicable to this situation? Does the theory help you make more sense of what happened? Could you use the theory to improve the aspect in the future? What did you learn about the community that you serve and why? What did you learn about the people that you serve and why? What did you learn about yourselves? Conclusion, what else could you have done? In this conclusion, some of the key things that you have learned through the reflective process, the main factors affecting the situation and what to improve. How could this have been a more positive experience for everyone involved? How specifically has the community benefited? In more detail, how the community can benefit from that? How has your understanding of the community changed as a result of your participation in this project? What factor may have impacted upon the client view or experience of this project? How does this project address their need? Did you learn a new skill or clarify an interest? Talk about a disappointment of success for your project. What did you learn from these? How do your experience relate to your personal development? What did you learn about your teammates? Did you realize any shortcoming about yourselves? Last but not least is action plan. At the last stage of your reflection, you should think about what would you do to improve if you will encounter the event again or you want to do one more project again. Try to be very specific about what would you plan to do. For example, improving your skill in communicating with children with special needs. These are the questions below. What do you need to do in order to be better prepared to face the experience in the future? Even if the experience was positive and you did well, in which area can you improve? What specific step do you need to take in order to achieve the strategic improvements? What additional skill and knowledge do you need to develop? How could your team be improved? What information can you share with your BA or the community? How can you continue your involvement with this group or social issue? So these are the questions for you to use during the sixth stage, and you can use this Gibbs model when you do the group presentations or the individual essay. It's another one I usually do for my students or for my teammates. It's a simple reflection structure. It contains 3 what, 3 W. What? The first one is what? It's a record. Just record what did you do, what happens, how do you feel that? And then, so what is the process of thinking? Why did I feel that way? How is that thing to happen this way? And now what is the application for the future? What can I do? What should I change? So it's a 3 what model. Usually I use for my team during the service learning project. So the first one is to help you recall what they have experienced, to look back over the event. This informs the recollection again of story, fact, feeling, sensing, observation. The second one is so what? To encourage participants to reflect on and articulate what people think or feel about their experience. This state usually is a now. The other side is the past. It involves feelings, idea, opinion. People are able to build on the event, describe to explain how they feel about the way they receive or didn't receive support, what kind of communication style have and what hinder, how they found their experience challenging. You can read the question here. And now what is the future? To help participants transfer the experience and relate to learning to their everyday life. It's about change and growth. So what type of the reflection you can do? Writing, reading, speaking, drawing, acting. In this service learning tool, there are two compulsory reflection that you do. Again, it's a final year, final project, presentation group in the group, and the individual essay. So how to write a good reflection paper? In most service learning programs, students are required to submit reflection journal to document and demonstrate their learning. Remember, demonstrate your learning. This could also require you to do that. A reflective journal or paper is quite different from other kind of academic writing. It's a paper focusing on what you think about the experience and what you have learned from it. It's always a personal view, personal experience. It is not a theory. It is not just about the theory. So how do you write a good service learning? Read the reflection provided question or prompt provided by your course instructor to understand clearly what outcome you should reflect on. Should your reflection focus on your understanding of the academic content of subject, the survey you already believe? For each of the focus required by your course instructor, follow the Gibbs reflective cycle to go through the state of reflection systematically, jotting down brief note in the process. Select the most salient point to include in your reflection paper to demonstrate your learning. Explaining what happened in your service experience, how it trained you and why. Write up your essay using appropriate format and style as explained below. Remember, there is no right or wrong answer in the reflective paper. The emphasis is on how you have changed and why rather than what. Here is a few video reference for you about the service learning reflections. I would love to share. Okay, let me share.
Hi there, my name's Chris Americos, and I've been teaching English for the last 11 years, and right now
you had, to Arizona. Let's take a look at how to write, or let's take a look at what is a reflective essay. So reflective essay, again, that's a word that sometimes people might be kind of daunted by. They don't know what it means, but it's really pretty simple. It means that you're going to reflect on something that you've done. A lot of times, like in high school, this is going to be like the My Summer Vacation essay, where you're going to reflect on something, or a trip you had, to Arizona or something like that. The key with the reflective essay is that it's got to be more than storytelling. It's got to be more than just what happened. You're going to tell what happened. You're going to give information. You're going to give details. More details, the better. They give a powerful essay. But to make it a reflective essay, we're going to go beyond that. You're going to evaluate the experience. You're going to say what worked, what didn't work, what you enjoyed, what you didn't enjoy. You could even say what would have made it a better trip, what would have made it a better experience. By the way, this isn't just a My Summer Vacation essay. This is what scientists do at the end of an experiment, at the end of a long process. They'll write a reflective essay or even book on the experience. What they did, what they could have done better, what they could have done differently, what affected their research. Okay. You're also going to give your opinions about the experiences. And what's going to make this a really great paper when you write it is you're going to make sure that your opinions are directly related to the experiences that you have. So for example, in the essay, you're going to describe an experience, and then you're going to say your opinion on that. And teachers really appreciate it when you connect the two. So rather than just giving experiences that you don't talk about, and even worse, rather than just giving opinions about things you haven't even talked about, you're going to describe an experience, and then reflect on it. And that's the perfect reflective essay.
All right. Sorry, another one.
In this video, you'll be introduced to reflective writing and some techniques to help you make the most of the reflection process. Throughout your degree, you'll be asked to reflect on theories you learn and experiences you have. Reflection allows you to look back on something and think deeply about it. By analysing, questioning and evaluating the experience, you'll develop new insights and perspectives. Often this will in turn challenge your beliefs and affect your future actions. Reflective writing is a chance to think critically about how an experience made you feel and how this connects to your personal beliefs. We all have our own perspectives that we bring to any situation, which in turn affects how we see it. This process also gives you an opportunity to connect these experiences, feelings and beliefs to theory and research. You can then use these ideas in combination to inform how you might act or think differently in the future. But be careful. One of the dangers when asked to write a reflective piece is to dedicate too much of your word count to simply describing the experience, rather than dedicating effort towards interpreting and evaluating it. The reflection then simply becomes a recount of what happened or a repeat of what you've studied. To avoid this, remember, your personal perspective is important. Unlike other types of writing, reflective writing is a chance for you to write about your feelings and experiences in the first person. To be sure your reflective writing piece goes deeper than simply describing the event, try considering your experience in relation to this model, DIEP. First, describe what happened. This could be a single incident or a highlight from that week's lecture or reading. You don't need to recall the entire experience, just a key aspect of the experience itself. Then, interpret the event. Consider what the experience might mean. How did it make you feel? How does it relate to other things you've learned? What new insights have you gained from it? Next, evaluate how beneficial or useful the experience has been. Finally, outline a plan for how the experience may impact on your thinking and behaviour in the future. Being able to write in this way takes time and practice. Start by brainstorming aspects of your experience first, then any relevant theories you've studied. Next, add related past experiences or personal beliefs. Once you've finished brainstorming, try making connections between the ideas. This final step will help you identify a theme. Doing this first will give you the best chance of producing a connected narrative where your experience, interpretations, evaluations and plans are presented in a cohesive way. By focusing on a theme rather than the entire experience or entire reading or lecture, you'll be able to go into more depth in your reflection and dedicate more word count to your perspective and insights. If you have time, and already have a topic to write about, pause the video here to start your own brainstorm and find a theme to focus on. Once you've identified your theme, you're ready to write. We're going to look at 2 sample paragraphs and review them against the DIEP reflective writing model. Pause the video here, read the 2 paragraphs and ask yourself, is one more effective than the other? If so, how? Why? Paragraph 2 is a much more in-depth reflection than the first. The sentences highlighted in bold in the second paragraph are additional points that were missing from the first. In the second paragraph, the author has identified their focus or theme, in this case their experience of writing their first technical document in the workplace. They've written about how the experience felt and connected this to theory. They've also identified an opportunity to develop further. The student who wrote the second paragraph will have a much deeper understanding of the experience and how they can use it to shape their own development in the future. Now, Let's take a closer look at the language they used to demonstrate this deeper reflection. They've shown how the experience made them feel with language such as I found and I felt, and evaluated the experience with statements such as which gave me and it reminded me. Furthermore, their plans for the future are highlighted using language such as I need to, I'm very interested in developing, and I hope to. To be sure you have a balance of ideas and have not dedicated too much of your word count to simply describing the experience, try colour coding your description, interpretation, evaluation and plan in 4 different colours. Here, the description is highlighted in blue, the interpretation in red, the evaluation in green, and the plan in yellow. This allows us to easily see the balance between these 4 elements. This is a great technique to try while editing your document. The example we've just analysed focuses on an experience, but the technique is equally effective when reflecting on lectures, readings, and theories. Many students who've been asked to write reflectively for an assignment have found it so beneficial that they've continued the practice even after the subject is finished. So, we've looked at how to approach reflective writing through an initial brainstorming phase. We've also applied the DIEP model to identify new insights. You're now ready to begin the process yourself. If you would like more detailed information on reflective writing style and how to avoid common mistakes, go to the Reflective Writing module in the Academic Skills Hub. You can access the Hub by logging into the LMS. For more tips and advice, to register for workshops or events, or to find out what's happening in academic skills, visit our website.
All right. So we have one more thing is DIEP for you. It kind of is similar to the 4 stages of the COP model. I hope this video will give you the ideas clearer for you to write the reflection. So for me, we will try to keep it short, in your projects, presentations, as well as your individual essays. So you need to do descriptive, outline what something is and how something was done, explanatory, explaining why and how it's like that. Expressive, I think, I feel, I believe, and future application next time in the future. Useful sentences and complete paragraph. You can usually use personal pronoun like I, my, or we in the writing. All right, that is everything I want to tell you about during the e-learning 4. Of course, let's recap a little bit. The reflection is a core element of the service learning, so you have to do the reflections to link the student experience, your experience, into a meaningful learning. Reflection is an active and deliberate learning process. So it requires you to look back on your experience, make sense of and think about the experience, construct new and deeper understanding. And also introduce you the Gibbs reflective circle and also the Kopf reflective circle. A good reflection should include evidence of your thinking through all 6 stages of the reflective cycle and demonstrative thinking and analysis of your experience. Thank you so much.